How's everybody doing? So I just want to come on here and make this video because 2 weeks ago, 2 Sundays ago, I started doing recovery meetings here at my shop. And I've done so to give people a comfortable place to open up. Not to say anything about anything else, you know, I just know that some people can find comfort in some places where some people can't. Let's just say that. So I wanted to kind of do a recap, and I wanted to come on here and explain to everybody. I said recovery meeting, but I really didn't get into depth about what it was going to be about. So I figured I would come on and do a little bit of a recap about what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks. So for me, I facilitate a little bit different because I recovered different. I personally did not do the 12 steps myself. I did, but unknowingly I worked those steps because you have to in order to get into your recovery. You have to work those steps. You have to admit that you have a problem. You have to take accountability. You have to do, you have to forgive. You have to, there's a lot of these things that you do, and you'll work every single step, whether you do a 12-step program or not. And I know there's a lot of 12-step programs going on right now, and shout out to every single one of you in this community and any other community that are doing these programs, because we need all the help we can get. For those of you guys don't know, we do have a couple different meetings here in our community. I'm actually going to get the flyer and I'm going to post it to my Facebook and to my TikTok so that people can see we actually do have quite a few meetings, and I know quite a few of those facilitators, and they're amazing. With that said, for me, when I say I facilitate a little bit differently, because I recovered differently. So for me, when I started to recover, I wanted to know how, I got into that, what caused it with my mental health, with my brain, with my body, because all of these things go hand in hand. Your spirituality, all these things go hand in hand when it comes to recovery. For me, people in addiction tend to start in addiction because, of course, there's a lot of controversy. Let me just first say there's a lot of controversy in the world to say that some people say they don't believe that drug addiction is a disease. They actually think it's a choice. And in reality, you are wrong, but you are right. Because yes, it began as a choice. Yes, it began as a choice for most of us who went into it, unless you were held down and given the drug. And if you were, then my heart goes out to you. But a lot of us weren't, our arm wasn't twisted to get into the drug addiction. We started it with a family member, a friend, just a group of people we were hanging out when we were younger because it was either peer pressure or we thought it was cool, But then somewhere along the way, it becomes such a routine for those of us that fall into addiction that we forget we have the choice. We lose that power within ourselves. And some don't. And if you don't, then God bless you. But for those of those that do, that's who I'm talking to. And we fall into, typically those that fall into addiction like that come from some kind of trauma. And it may be something so minute that you think that something like that wouldn't cause you to fall into addiction. But everybody's trauma is different, and everybody's trauma is bad to them. It doesn't matter how bad one person's story is and yours being less than, but that's not the way it works. That trauma to you is serious, and that matters. So for me, in my teachings and my facilitating, I want to get to the depth. I want to get to the core. I want to start where it started at. That's what I want to do. I want to work on healing. I want to work on family healing. I want to work on healing within ourselves. I want to give you the opportunity to feel comfortable to share your story here, because people need to hear these stories. And I know that some of us feel so ashamed or so guilty that we don't want the world to know what's going on or what we've done. And I understand that completely. I do. But at the same time, it's not good for you to hold things in. And I've said this a million times, and I'm going to say this one more time on this video. I want everybody out there to understand that recovery and sobriety are two totally different things. Sobriety is the absence of the chemical, of the substance, or whatever it is that you were addicted to. It's the absence of. Recovery is healing. Recovery is just what it is. Recovery is healing a wound, getting back to normal from something that occurred. So in order to recover, we need to know where the wound is. So that's what this meeting is for. This meeting is for us to find out the core issue. So many people want to label addicts so quick in this world. Oh, she's a junkie, he's a junkie, oh, he's a piece of crap, oh, she's a piece of crap, oh, she's a sorry mama, he's a sorry daddy. That's all everybody ever sees. Nobody ever asks why. Why did that person fall into addiction? What happened for them to go down that road? And because you see so many people, it's happened for me, they'd be like, oh, she was such a sweet little girl, oh, she was such a good young lady, and then, oh, when she falls into addiction, it must be behavior, it must be lashing out. But what people don't understand is the trauma. I can't speak on anybody else's trauma, but I can tell you my trauma. My trauma is deep. My trauma is severe to me. My trauma is what caused me to fall into addiction, because I felt less than. I felt unloved, I felt unwanted, I felt understood. When I did those drugs, all those things went away. I could be more social, I felt stronger, and all of that, yes, was a false feeling. It was a false feeling, but that's why I chose the drug, because it took me to a place that I didn't have to think about all the darkness within myself. I didn't have to feel the pain that I had consistently felt for so long. And again, some of you may not understand that, but that's hard. That's a hard thing to go through, especially when you're alone and nobody else understands, because your family is so caught up in sweeping things under the rug and not talking about it. I'm not talking about just my family. I'm talking about so many families out there that want to not talk about addiction, or they want to sweep it under the rug like it ain't nothing that big, or maybe they don't want their family outed about the addiction because they don't want to look bad as parents or as grandparents or whatever the situation may be. So I don't want to go more in depth with this. I would like for you guys to come see yourself. This meeting is about healing. This meeting is about meeting each and every one of you where you stand in your recovery. This meeting is about helping you feel comfortable to talk about things that have happened to you in the past, because there's no way around it. And I'm going to say yes, that talking about it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't disappear. It'll never go anywhere. Talking about it and sharing it and trying to figure out ways to learn to cope with these things will help you in the long run. It will help you to deal with those dark moments, those quiet moments when things come about and you start thinking about all those old issues or those old trauma or that old abuse. I love you guys, and I would love to see so many more of you here, because there's so many more of you out there that I know that need help. And I want you guys to know that I love each and every one of you, and I'm rooting for each and every one of you, no matter if you're homeless right now or you're in addiction right as you're watching this video. Know that you're not the only one. You're not the only one struggling. There are people out there that are willing to help. There are people out there that understand where you're coming from. If you could just get to one of the meetings around here and just it's maybe not your facilitator that you need to hear from. Maybe it's somebody in the group that you're there with. Maybe somebody else that's got something to say or a story to share may change your life. I love everybody, and I hope you find the help you need.